Oh, yeah. Good to see you all. Just kind of taking everybody in here. Yes. Oh, mudita, joy. Do you associate the idea of joy with the idea of discipline? Now, that may be an unusual pairing, and I don't think that most people put them together. And I never really did until long after I started to practice. So I want to talk about today effort, right effort, and the discipline of kindness and how they lead us to joy. I have a couple of short stories that I'm going to share with you, and I hope they express this connection. I think they do. All right. It was a really hot day this summer. One of those days where you step out and it feels like you're stepping into a sauna. But I was driving in my car and the air conditioning was pumping, so I was feeling cool and comfortable. And I passed this man walking in the opposite direction with a backpack on. Now I had met him. I didn't know him well, but I had met him, and I knew that because of causes and conditions and some really poor choices, he had lost his driver's license. So I thought, do I turn around and offer him a ride back into town? Oh, I've got a meeting. I'm going to be running a little late. Oh, they won't mind if I'm a little late. If I don't do it, am I still a good person? I had to say, yes, you're still a good person if you don't turn around. But I decided to turn around. And I pulled up beside him and I asked him if he wanted a ride into town. And his face just lit up with relief. And oh, yes, thank you. And he got in the car and we chatted. His appreciation became my appreciation. His joy in that car ride really was my joy. And I felt the uplift of that. I mean, still, I'm talking about it. When he got out of the car, he said, thank you so much. Have a good day, Joy. And I thought, I didn't correct him about my name. I thought, oh, let me just drive around with this name for a little while and see how that feels. It felt kind of good. It felt good. I mean, what I did was no big deal. But on that day, it was right effort for me. And right effort, again, is not about striving or struggling or pushing ourselves harshly. And it's also not about wafting along. It's deliberate. And we remember what Buddha said about the stringed instrument. Too loose, the strings won't make a sound. Too tight, they might break. Right effort cultivates the wholesome energy, and it helps us to be more at ease. And this feels good. More ease and freedom help the heart to open. And Bill Morgan will often say, if people stop practicing, one of the reasons people stop practicing is because it doesn't feel good. It lacks that sweetness. We need the sukha. We want our practice to be nourishing, not draining. Christina Feldman in Boundless Heart writes, tasting joy requires discipline. Cultivating joy is not a discipline of forcing or striving. It's a discipline of kindness. A discipline of kindness. Not just random acts of kindness, though we want to allow them to occur as often as they do. Part of the discipline of kindness is noticing the kindness. And I think every time we make this effort to sit, it's an act of kindness. Without discipline, our actions are more likely to be misdirected or at the whims of our impulses and external influences, our likes, our dislikes. With discipline, with practice, we become a little more skilled at directing our own growth. With discipline and practice, we develop good habits, and we may find joy becomes more accessible to us. Joy isn't a goal of practice. It is certainly one of the fruits of practice. A long, long time ago, I had done something nice for my great-grandmother, my Grandma Posey. And I felt really good about it. I felt good about what I had done. I felt good about myself. And I remember coming home to my mom, I was the mother, and I said to my mom, I had let her know how good I felt about doing this. And she listened, and then she said, you know, when we do nice things for people, you don't do them so that you'll feel good. You do them because the other person needs it. It's not about you. It's about them. This was the message. And I remember feeling a mix of feelings, kind of like an air going out of my sails, a little resentment, maybe some anger, embarrassment. And then probably the thought like, oh yeah, well, you're really the reliable source on this, Mom, kind of debate. The message was that you're really not supposed to feel good about doing something good that you do for another person. And maybe, of course, maybe there's some wisdom. She didn't want me bragging about this. But doesn't this cut off one of the paths of joy? And can we savor the good feeling? This is part of the practice. I think about a response that might have been more helpful to me at that time. It might have been something like, I'm so glad that you did that for her. That was kind. And I'm happy that she appreciated this. And I'm happy that you feel good about this. And maybe you'll have a chance to do this again. I hope so. I think it's helpful for us to reflect on the messages and conditioning we've received about feeling good, about our actions, and about ourselves. And it takes time and effort to unlearn and unwind from some of these patterns and messages that were very well intended. So let me close with this, just to consider some of the disciplines of our practice. We have the guidance of sila, ethical conduct that guides our speech, our thoughts, our actions, our understanding. When we have the discipline to apply them, to remember them. We have the pith instructions, many pith instructions, but here's one that we've heard from Bill. Not now. No, not now. Not now. I'm not going to feed that resentment, that judgment, that critical thought. I'm not going to feed it now. Or learning to recognize that in that difficult feeling, there's suffering. And can I offer that compassion? We have the gift of this mindfulness practice that orients us in presence and well-being. We grow the willingness to begin again. We fall, we forget, and we start again and again and again and again and again with kindness. And we have these heart qualities of the Brahma Viharas that we are learning to trust and foster and nurture. Sitting here right now is an act of kindness. For you, for us, because we're making the effort to orient ourselves in the direction of well-being. This is kindness. We can allow ourselves to feel the joy of this. Thank you for listening. Now we get to practice. Thank you all. All right. Unfasten your seatbelts. Move about. Stretch. Rock. Do you need to move quickly today to bring up some energy? Do you need to calm it down in this moment and move more slowly? Really, please check in and see what this body needs today. And small joints of the fingers, sometimes we forget the wrists. A little massage, perhaps, on the face, tapping. Maybe a little sway, rocking. And when you feel ready to come into a posture that you can settle in for a while, we come in for a landing. And if helpful, closing the eyes to let go of some of the external stimulation and bringing the attention inward, how it feels on the inside today. Taking some deeper, slower breaths, if that is of support for settling. orienting toward a natural and comfortable breath. And feeling the places where the body makes direct contact with the ground, chair, the hands on the lap, the feet on the ground. Just feeling for the stability and support. We invite the body to relax, unwind, soften. Central nervous system, relax. And if there are any tensions and little graspings, just breathing some space around them. And throughout this short practice, we're orienting in the direction of ease and well-being. Inviting the mind to relax. Allowing thoughts and feelings to be like the clouds, weather patterns in the sky. They come and they go, perfectly natural. Soften and allow. as if this moment has everything that we need, just as it is. Soften and allow. Rest. Thank you for your practice. Let me